Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the WDYSA Anime Podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that will hopefully lead to a great conversation. On today's episode, the John Smith fan club of the WDYSA Anime Podcast will be reviewing the 2010 animated film and closing out our Endless 8, The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. Let's spin the Wheel of Fate and meet today's club members. First up, we got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
I'm doing great today. It's been a good day, especially after being able to watch this movie today.
Absolutely. Glad to have you as well. Jay, welcome back. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. Can he get through his intro this time? We got Preston. Preston, how's it going?
I'm doing great.
He didn't even do the one he prepared.
I'm so proud of him. Honestly, I'm
Did
so
he
proud
prepare
of him.
something?
We'll never
Yeah.
know. Recording this before heading off to summer school, we got Johnny. Johnny, how's it going?
Summer school actually already started for me, so I am in complete misery. So I'm not doing well. But,
Glad to have you.
we
Our first moderator
survive
tonight, we
somehow.
got Miles. Miles, how's it going?
I got the second bat out of my house in the span of 2 months, so it's going okay.
Let's
We're-
go.
Little W's.
Small dubs. And we got Pat.
Hey guys, how we doing today? I loved this week because we only had to watch a movie, and we also
long
only had to
movie.
watch a Haruhi movie, which, yeah, to be fair, was 2 hours and 41 minutes of time. But some might say it might be even shorter, depending on the speed that you watch it at. No, but alas, I am joking. We watched The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, which aired in February of 2010. It's the third, I guess technically third part of the Haruhi series, and it's the newest part as well. We're still waiting on the conclusion, I guess, of the series. Who knows? Maybe that's coming soon. No one knows. But yeah, let's. It's hard to not talk about spoilers, but let's try and just talk about our general feel going in, maybe what we expected of the movie versus and whether it hit those expectations. I don't know. Again, the series is so long at this point. We've talked about it so much recently that it might be tough to come up with new stuff to say, but give it your best. So Miles, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so this is my second time watching this movie. This movie is very enjoyable in my opinion. I guess I think it's sort of like everything that encapsulates Haruhi, but the movie doesn't have any of those episodes that understandably people might be a little lower on if you're not the largest fan of the season. It's pretty concise, and it's kind of almost I don't know, an 8-episode season or something. And as I watch more anime, I keep thinking that 8-episode seasons is the sweet spot for a lot of these light novel adaptations. So I really liked it. I thought the pacing was great. The movie, I think, is wonderful. The cinematography and stuff is great. We got our Mudebot picture in it, which was fun. And I know Jay saw that and was like, "Oh my god!" And that happened to me too the first time I watched it. So I don't know. I really liked it. Obviously, I'm going to recommend this if you enjoyed Haruhi. If you're not a fan of Haruhi, I don't know, people love this movie, even people who aren't big on the series, but I might say not. I just feel like you shouldn't have to do that to yourself. It's not worth it. It's a long movie. And if you just end up not liking it, it isn't worth it. This movie's great though, so I would recommend it.
Well, if you don't think you won't like it, then don't watch it. But I loved it, so you should watch it. There you go. I like it. All right, Kat, what about you?
I really enjoyed the movie. So if you watch our last episode on Haruhi season 2, I wasn't as high on Haruhi, which I wasn't really expecting. This movie has definitely redeemed itself. The only thing I really expected coming out of this movie was that Haruhi disappears, i.e. the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, but I really didn't have any other expectations except for everybody in this chat, minus Johnny, saying that this movie is great. So I'm not really sure. I wasn't really sure what to get out of it because the second season I honestly was leaning more towards Johnny, but now that I know that Johnny is wrong, I am feeling great. I would definitely
Wrong
recommend
about
this
what?
movie. A lot of things, but definitely Haruhi.
I feel like you're just gaslighting me into like feeling bad about myself, which, to be fair, is
No,
probably
I'm
what I
gaslighting you
deserve. But
about feeling bad about yourself about your opinions. You are a great person. You just make bad decisions
Aw.
sometimes.
It's one of the
That
most moments we've had on this.
honestly, that I think that's just gaslighting. Like that's a typical gaslighting
how
thing,
dare
right?
you think I'm a good person?
It's like you're great, but you also suck and should
I will
change.
list
Come
all
on.
the horrible things I've done this
There-
past week right now.
There's no
Okay.
such thing as gaslighting. It's just some bullshit you made up.
You sound delusional right now, Kat, honestly. But yeah, let's move
Yes,
on
sir.
to Johnny. Johnny, what about you? What do you think?
Well, apparently, according to Kat, I'm not allowed to have opinions, so I think I'll skip. I'm just kidding.
All right, Jay, what do you think?
I'm
The
not-
disappearance of
honestly,
Johnny.
I'm quite a big fan.
And I had
I-
to survive through exams, and like I had a break, so I decided to come back, and I just get bullied. This is like it's like when you get an injury in school, and when you come back, you expect everyone to miss you, but everyone's just like, "Oh, you're back." God damn it. Anyways, yeah. So I watched this movie. I think it was because I was having an argument with Pete about why I hated Haruhi, and he was like, "It's worth it for Disappearance." I'm like, you know what? Fine, Pete. I'll humor you. I'll watch this 2 hour and 40-minute movie. And you know what? I hate proving Pete right, but he might have been right here.
Ooh.
Clip it!
Ooh.
So
Clip it!
Yeah. All right.
All
That-
right,
there we
that
go.
is-
statement.
That is going.
let me finish. Don't
No,
worry.
no, that's it. That's the last words you're saying.
Don't let him cook. Stop him.
Oh, God.
It's okay. I
I'm
deafened him.
turning the
It's
stove back on.
oh.
Like it's
All right. He's muted too and deafened. It's perfect. Yeah, no, that's going on the soundboard for sure. But Johnny, sorry, go ahead, finish your point.
Can I now?
No,
Yeah.
you can't. I just told you to, and you said no. So, all right. But yes, go please.
Yeah, so like Miles was saying about like if you didn't like the show, you might not like this movie. Personally, for me, I was fine with season 1, hated season 2 because endless hate, endless boredom. But you know, it is what it is. Coming back, I feel like I wouldn't go as far as say it completely makes up for the endless hate, but in my eyes, like because of this movie, I don't think Haruhi in general is a bad show.
Wow, that's
So
pretty high praise.
I feel like that makes this movie worth a watch, even if you don't like Haruhi. And there we go.
All right, there we go, full circle. All right, Jay, what about you?
I enjoyed the movie well enough. I had to watch it dubbed on YouTube without subtitles because I couldn't really find anywhere else and watch it on my TV. Overall, I think that it's better than probably the second. Yeah, I think it's better than most of season 2. Maybe not some of the high points. I think in general, this is just a pretty good payoff for the series as it stands right now. Anyway, obviously we're getting a bit more content, so it's not out of the question that we get more anime content at some point. So I'm not going to call it the complete payoff, but I think that if you're somebody who was maybe kind of iffy on Haruhi, like season 2, but like season 1, then you may as well just like take an afternoon and sit down and watch this and kind of just enjoy it because this is like the high point of the series in my opinion. I would recommend it. For sure.
I'll take my thing back then, because the two people who probably enjoyed Haruhi the least out of our little squad just said that they would recommend it. So never.
You want to know why, Miles?
Because
Because-
Haruhi isn't in it.
Yeah, Haruhi isn't in it. It's called Disappearance of Haruhi. That's why I liked it.
To be fair, yeah. All right, Pete, what about you?
Yeah, I'm similar to the Cat, where season 1 was an 8 for me, season 2 was a 7, and then the movie is my third favorite anime movie of all time. I absolutely adore this. I got to rewatch this in dub. I'm a huge fan of the dub casting, so my rewatch was pretty enjoyable. I don't think it hit as hard as it did the first time, but it was still like a very enjoyable rewatch. I love just like the little bits and pieces that they have sprinkled in throughout the different like Easter eggs from like season 1 and season 2 in the movie. Just a fantastic movie. I would definitely recommend it, even if you're not like the biggest fan of the series. I think the movie is a definite payoff, especially if you struggled with the Endless 8. I think that this movie does everything you want in the series and more.
There we go. And Preston, what about you?
This is the second time I've watched this movie. Loved both times. I think it's great. And if you honestly got through the end slate, you might as well just watch the movie and finish Haruhi so you can say you never had to watch it again. And you'll probably enjoy it because it's better than the first 2 seasons. I recommend it.
There we go. Yeah, and lastly on my end, I loved it. Great movie. I think it just continued everything that I loved about the Haruhi show, and brought a little tension into it too, especially at the beginning. First half of the movie is very tense, trying to deduce the mystery, I guess. And then I think it pays off in the end as well. Like Jay has mentioned, it definitely has a lot of payoff. And I guess we'll talk more about the rest of that in our spoiler section. So yeah, if you haven't watched the movie yet and you've maybe been watching the show along with us, take a pause, come back to us. We'll still be here. And yeah, let's start talking spoilers of Haruhi. Where do we want to start with our discussion? Anyone have any talking points? Pete, I see that you just raised your hand. What would you like to
Sorry,
say?
Miles, I beat you to it. This question actually goes out to the people who watched this for the first time only. Like 15 minutes into the movie, were you getting Vietnam flashbacks of the Endless Eight? And I want to know your thoughts of kind of like the time loop again in this movie.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is gonna be one of those moments where I was like, I'm not gonna like this movie. I don't know what Pete was smoking, but I do not want any of it. But
Was it the GTA meme? It's like, ah, shit, here we go again.
here we go again. Yeah, like, exactly. But yeah, it definitely blew me out of the water when like after I watched the movie, like during work today, I actually read the manga to see if I could find any differences because I was like I really wanted to see what the how it upgraded, I guess.
As for me, I liked again the NSA. I thought it was funny. This was it didn't have that. I never really felt like endless eight though either. Like it didn't. It time looped a tiny bit in terms of, but it didn't really repeat itself that much, did it? Like at least that I didn't. I didn't
Well,
feel
just
like
like
it
in the
did.
beginning where like, she wakes him up while he's sleeping and it's like, oh, like I'm kind of getting like, it feels like the Endless Eight again.
That's fair. Didn't he? Wasn't it like a different temperature? Like I don't know. Like so, like immediately I thought it was just like it's next day, and then they were like no, it's 6 months ago or it's this day, whatever. Like I thought I found the time travel jumping really interesting, and I'm not a big time travel guy normally either, which is why I think that's one of my biggest compliments for the movie is the fact that it
Absolutely.
did time travel really well in my opinion, and I guess it kind of cheats by using other dimensions as well or other worlds, other versions of the world, but
You
uh,
have to cheat to make time travel work
Yeah,
because
100%.
it's just filled with paradoxes.
right. Well, and even this one is filled with paradoxes, right? Because like anytime you start time traveling, you create a loop, right? And it's a loop that will never break, and it's I don't know some whatever. I hate it. That's why I hate it again because there's no real good answer for it, right? It's not logical
Mm.
unless you make up logic. But in this case, it does it better than most. I think is what I would say.
I was thinking, like, outside of like this and like Steins Gate, they're like the two like time loop shows to me that really stand out with like how good the writing is when it deals with time loop. So it's like one of my like major props to this movie is how they handled the time loops because I think a lot of shows fumble the bag in that aspect, and I think Haruhi does a really good job.
I wanted to ask everyone, you guys wake up and your entire lives have changed like Kyon's did, right? Like people don't recognize you, people are missing. How many people because I mean, kind of went like right for the jugular for like everyone he tried to talk to. And then he like slowly learned with like Yuki. He was like, "Oh, have we met before?" And she was like, "Yes." And then he was like, "So you're an android, correct?" Um, but how many people would you need to talk to that would act like that before you were convinced that the wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff has happened to you? Because I think I would have to talk to like 27 people
I think
before I wasn't convinced
I think
that it
like it
was like
depends on like
collective
who you
gaslighting.
talk to first, because like I could see like
Like, how close they are.
if I like went and talked to like my brother first, I could see him like fucking with me, and like I
Okay.
don't think I would get it. 27 seems a little aggressive.
I
Yeah.
think it would depend on who's like quote unquote missing. right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I'll go with like 5. I think
Okay.
5. Yeah.
I
It
remember
would be
sitting
a
there.
lot easier for me because I live in a place where I don't know very many people. So, like,
That's also
it'd
fair.
be
Who's
very
missing?
obvious.
Like,
Whoever your real life equivalent of Haruhi is. So for
No
you,
one, because I
Johnny,
wouldn't stand it.
that would be like whoever your least favorite person is. Um,
So whoever just gaslit me 10 minutes ago.
so Cat's missing. Okay, that's
Yeah.
he's been replaced with someone named Dog. And-
God.
Yeah.
And we don't.
We
need
really
to-
got the dog in him.
We definitely don't need to hit the ready button in that case, guys.
I remember sitting there actually. Again, this is the first time watching the movie for me as well. I should have mentioned that earlier. I remember sitting there and being like, "What is like really? He still doesn't like buy that people aren't gaslight. You know, like especially after he talked to all of the SOS brigade, basically. You know, like I feel like I would have just accepted it and been like, oh, okay, so this is actually something that happened because it's not the most. Is it the most ridiculous thing that's happened yet to him? I guess it kind. No, it isn't because he had that. They literally had the what's his face fighting a space esper or whatever that big
Yeah, he fought with
dimension.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so no, it's not the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened to him. I feel like he should
It's
have
the most
been
impactful thing, I would say. Like, he lost all of his friends. I think part of
right.
him asking was desperation to find someone who remembered. Eventually, he does, kind of, or he at least sets the timeline for himself. But, like, I do think part of it is just him being like, oh, God. Like, because I think he sort of realizes without the SOS Brigade, he has fucking no one except for his kind of douchey friend and his kind of, I don't know, lame friend. um,
Yeah, that's fair. I loved the scene of him talking to his cat. Like he's like, "Oh, hey, little sister, young sister, go away, mom. Keon's gone crazy. He's trying to talk to the cat."
I
That
need
was
you to
so
leave the room so I can talk to the cat in private.
yeah, that was so funny. Especially he's like, "Oh yeah, hold out the left paw and the right paw," and the cat just like rolls over and does nothing. He's like, "Damn it!" Like about how awful you must feel that must be something you're so desperate for, right? Is like, damn, I really hope this cat actually does talk to me, you know. That's there are a lot of really good moments in this movie that were very funny, I thought. I don't know, I guess that's just the whole series though. The whole series is so clever. But
So for me, back to the original question, it'd probably take about like I don't know, probably about uh 4 people, mainly because the 4 people I would talk to, my wife, my friend at work, my mom, and my grandma. If I got anything wrong with one of them, I know that they wouldn't play pranks on me because I'm normally the person that plays pranks on them. So I would know that there would be something wrong as soon as actually it'd be 2 people. As soon as 2 of them found something off, I would lose my shit also. So
Yeah, I think the question is a lot it's a lot more on like quality than quantity because it's like if you say like you're gonna have to talk to like 20 people, what if you're just talking to like 20 strangers on the middle of the street? Like that's not gonna really help you. I think like for me, like if I just talk to like one person that I've known for like my whole life, and then like something's off without them, I think that I would pick it up. Maybe not from one, but I think like yeah, same with cat. Like 2 would be like the maximum before I would figure out that like okay, something's wrong.
I think part of getting older is sometimes I forget stuff too because then somebody might like say something. I'm like, I might have said that or I might have done that and I just don't remember.
This would have been like, I mean, this was like pretty serious stuff, right? It would be like you going to like your best friend and being like, "Sup, dude?" And they're just like, "Who the fuck are you?"
My best friend would probably say that.
it's fucked,
Okay.
but yeah, probably mine too. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
honestly, that's fair enough.
yeah, at least one of them would. Yeah.
I have a question about a change that is made from the light novels as far as ordering these arcs. So in this show, the Endless Eight happens before the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, and in the light novels, it happens after. I think this is a good change because of how it affects Yuki, where I guess we've already said spoilers, but like a big part of this is sort of Yuki evolving, developing more human-like characteristics, and getting tired of Haruhi's shit, like everyone else has at some point. And I like that placement of the 15,532 loops before this, because I think it sort of like adds to the how she could sort of like break down a little bit mentally. Like a human brain definitely couldn't handle that, doing the same week over that many times. And I don't know if when I watched this in retrospect, it sort of made me like the Endless Eight and how it built into Yuki's character and her changing and like her character growth, which I think is fantastic in this movie. So I don't know if anyone else sort of had that thought, or if anyone would just like to speak to Yuki's character in this, because I think it's just so phenomenally done.
I do have a conundrum with this. So
Okay.
it's actually, if you've ever seen the movie Casino and you've ever seen the movie Goodfellas, you have to ask which one you like better. And most of the time it's whichever one you saw first is the one that you like the best. So I feel like for this, it's like chronologically for me watching the anime, I feel like this makes the most sense. But like if I read it, I feel like then that would probably make the most sense. And then like the anime like wouldn't, like why would they do that? Like in the light novel, they do it this way and it makes way more sense. I think it's like one of those things where it's just like, depending on how you consumed it, it makes the most sense for you. And that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting with it.
Yeah,
By
I
the
think
way,
that makes
and by the way, Goodfellas is better than Casino.
agreed.
So a quick question: do you know, like, if the Endless Eight Day was like a flashback in the light novels to be like, this is how her brain just got stored with so much information to where she needed to just try to reset, or was it just she already was like that and then the Endless Eight happened?
So I'm not an expert on it. My understanding is the second. So I didn't read all of the light novels because I sort of skipped some arcs besides the ones I really liked from the anime. So I don't know exactly how it played into it, but my understanding is that the Endless Eight isn't a flashback. It's just something that happens.
I think then that this way I would probably say it even without reading, because it would make more sense to why Nagito acts the way she does in the movie. While, like, if she gets sick of Haruhi and then has 15,000 loops afterwards, it would feel like she would need another mental reset with the amount of data that's in her brain at that point after the Endless Eight.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I like it in the structure that it is. Like I like in the order of the anime. It feels like it does make just more logical sense. It also, I mean, he calls it out even, right? Doesn't Kyon go, oh, this is like when we were repeating for 15,000 days. Like how is it? How do you not see the similarities here? I think that that scene added a lot to the like building the tension, I guess, for me. Which I obviously it couldn't have if it was the other way around like it is in the light novels. But of course, I haven't read the light novels either, so I really don't know too much on that end.
I don't know, it feels like it makes more sense for her to like start malfunctioning after 15,000 years as opposed to like malfunctioning then 15,000 years happen. It's
That's
like I
that's
feel
where
like
I'm
that
at
makes more
too.
sense.
That feels like that would have definitely done like it's like leaving your computer on for like 4.5 years or something.
It's like letting
In a dusty
ChatGPT
corner.
like stay online for 15,000
And
years and then
it's
like
been
it
mining
actually develops
it's also been
conscience.
mining Bitcoin.
Yeah,
It's been
Yeah.
mining
You know,
Dogecoin.
you know that
Like,
meme of like the girlfriend like pleading, is like please, like it's like
Have
your
sex
computer
with
is
me.
like please restart me, please.
I think it's interesting too because in the movie they definitely leave it open as well, where there's a scene where they're on the roof together or whatever, and she's like, "This is gonna happen again," and he says, "Oh well, I'm not gonna, I'll do the same thing. I'll fight for you. I'll, basically save you." Uh, Essentially, like that scene probably didn't change much from the light novel because obviously the 15,000 days even being after would almost justify him saying that and then being like, no, I'll still fight for you. I'll fix you the next time too. Like I could see it working either way because of that scene. But yeah, Pete,
That's
you
a
had
good
something.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bring up. I like talking about like technical stuff, and since this is Kyoto Animation and it's movie form, Was there anything technical that stood out to you guys from this movie compared to the series? I know for me, I thought the soundtrack was a little that stood out to me more. I also thought there was a little bit more Sakuga moments that really add some oomph to it. But if there's like a particular scene or moment in the movie that like it's like wow, like Kyoto Animation is like really good at what they do.
Yeah, so Kyoto Animation known for their water effects, and this time I felt like they were known for their solid water effects. The snow scenes I thought were beautiful. So like just the way that they spaced it and did all of that, I thought was great.
I had to watch the movie in 360p, so I have no opinion.
Oh
about
no!
Oh
it.
Believe me when
Well,
I
they-
say it looked good.
Kyoto Ani really stepped down their
Yeah,
animation
damn,
quality.
this was like dog shit compared to Dragon Maid.
New innovative approach. They decided to go with the pixel art method this time.
This is made 1986. What the hell?
It smells like Shield Hero in here.
It's just like the turtles in the background.
Yeah.
I didn't notice CGI, so that's always a
I did.
bonus for me. But you know what they also didn't do this time? They didn't repeat the same episode 8 times in a row. So that's a definite improvement to season 2. So props to them.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Preston?
I was a fan of the animation for when he got stabbed
Oh, that was
by
great.
Asakura, and when she started spinning around with all the blood, you could see the reflection in all the blood droplets.
Average Higurashi watcher.
Yeah.
No, but it was a really well animated. That was I was gonna
Higurashi
note
wishes
that.
it looked as good as that.
Yeah, it does.
Kind of like the tone shift too in that scene, right? Where it kind of came out of because like you didn't think that Asakura was like this serial psychopath. There was like hints of it, but like not like who she was before. And then it turns out it's like, just kidding, I am. And I thought it was like, oh,
See, when I
Kyo might
watched it,
die.
I was waiting for that shoe to drop the entire time because there was no way they were going to bring her back without her stabbing him.
I kind of felt that way too, but also like, so the gun that he has to shoot, what's her name with?
Yuki.
Yuki, yeah, the gun or whatever. It's so like toy looking and
Mhm.
it's like innocent. Where like it looks like, oh, if he shot her with it, it wouldn't do anything, right? Like it would just be like visual effects and then that's it. To counterplay that with then literally not even just like a knife, like a bayonet, like with the freaking it was so sick. Like it was really pretty too. Like the blood was pretty. It was going everywhere. I didn't even notice the reflections really. I like subconsciously did because it was like it stuck out to me. But I didn't notice that you could see the reflection of everything.
You could be
I
like
kinda
me and
wanted to
being
watch.
shocked that Kyo just got stabbed in the kidney.
That's true. That's kind of like what happened to me too. Yeah, I was like, really? That just happened? And then then the spin scene, it's like, oh wow, this is really well done. I will say though, there were a couple of moments of CGI, but of course it wasn't like obnoxious CG. It was just like the cars in the background are so obviously CG. Like because anime has that reputation almost, especially older anime of like every car you see is going to be CG. Every horse you see is going to be CG. Every
Turtle.
I can't think of turtle maybe. Yeah, turtle from
Hey,
Spirit
not in
Spirit
Bovary.
Tortoise. Spirit
Shout out
Tortoise,
to
isn't it?
Syrup.
But yeah, syrup's great. But yeah, so like that happens a lot in the older anime, and I feel like that's what happened in this show. Like when he's sitting there with the new Haruhi or the I guess alternate dimension Haruhi or timeline Haruhi, in the background, if you watch the cars, they will just be driving along and then randomly stop at the same exact point and then start driving again like a second later. And it's not there's no stop sign there, so it's just weird. It looks out of place. My eye just caught it out of nowhere. But again, it's not like an actual complaint. It's just like, oh yeah, there it is. There's there's CG. And I also the first scene looked kind of ugly, so I was like, wait, really? And then literally like it transitioned to the next screen, and I was like, oh yeah, no, it looks like normal.
I
again.
love
Good.
Pat that you like. There's this beautiful Sakuga moment. And it's like, oh, I didn't really notice all these reflections, but it's like CG car. I see you.
Oh,
He
it's
knows-
just because it caught my eye because it was a repetitive motion, and I was like, what's this repetitive motion going on? Oh, it's a car. It's different cars. To be fair.
Yeah.
But it's the cars would so like if I'm like Kyo and talking and like facing here, the cars would go vroom, boom, and like keep going like over and over again. It was like the same cadence, the same everything. It was really funny. But I was just like, oh, there's anime doing an anime thing there. Especially like an old school thing. Because like nowadays they do CG so well where it kind of like I don't know if it's AI or if it's like a computer, probably more of like a computer program like randomizing the way a crowd would move or the way a crowd of cars would move. It makes it stand out a little bit less. And I think the best example of that would be like in Suzume. Crowds, you can tell they're CG, but
Yep.
they still move very authentically. The spoiler alert, sorry for those who were worried about the crowds.
You
You know,
just
there are
ruined
human
ruined
beings
the
in
movie for me.
Suzume.
Yeah, there are crowds of people in Tokyo in the movie Suzume. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil
And
that
sometimes
for
they
you.
walk.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, I should really just stop talking.
Absolutely.
I
I
guess.
just watched Crown Handler 2 the other day, and the Princess Principal car looks a lot better now
Oh,
Let's
than
nice.
go.
it did.
It's about
So
time. Oh, I still want to watch those. We need to nominate those for Watch Club. Someone
Maybe.
needs to watch those. Yeah, who knows?
There's a random like Sakuga moment that I found. This happens a lot in anime when people are putting on like jackets. So what they'll do is they'll like start putting on the jacket and then they'll pan to somebody else, and then when they pan back, the jacket is on. I thought it was really interesting in this movie. They like fully captured people putting on jackets. I know this is super random, but I thought that was just like really interesting seeing everybody putting on their jackets and not panning away to like different scenes to like fast forward that process. So
yeah, and I mean they had to do something to justify not drawing the cars, right? And so they were like, all the animators got together and were like, let's have Haruhi take off her shirt, and then she can have a T-shirt underneath. Oh, let's do Haruhi putting her hair up in a ponytail, which I'm always here for. Kyoto Annie having anime girls put their hair in a ponytail is like a classic.
why you gave
but
Samiphonium a 10.
it is. I think I gave it an
It goes
8 or 9, but
stargazing, girls in ponytails.
it's
Time
Shows
loop
me
child
that.
murder at 3.
Damn close.
It's all starting to make sense.
Miles, what's 2 or 3? Ponytails or time loop child murder?
Look, it doesn't need to be child murder. It just needs to be a time loop murder mystery. Okay. And
But it's bonus
it being
points
a
if it's
child
child
helps.
murder. Is that right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
And if the child has a physical or mental disability.
It's an anime, so of course they do.
All anime girls, all anime children are mentally or physically disabled.
Yep, and you can't prove me wrong. Anyways,
That derailed so quick. Yeah.
How about
Harley.
that?
Did it just get
Yeah.
hot in here? Ooh.
Jay, I have a question for you specifically.
Yeah.
Because you were fairly a Haruhi critic last time, but I believe this is correct when I say your favorite character is Yuki. Yeah, is that a yes? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so like
she's
I've got
great.
my Yuki disc plate in the background. I also adore Yuki. Did you think she got done justice in this movie? Because this is what really like solidified this movie for me, was just like the way they explored her character. I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, I think that she honestly had the most interesting arc out of all the characters in the movie. Like, just like the reveal that it was her doing everything was pretty crazy. I mean, it didn't feel like obvious. Like, I probably could have guessed it if I really thought about it, looking back at it. But like, I don't know. I really enjoyed like just kind of like how they can go into like how a robot got so tired of Haruhi shit, which is just realistic. Like it's kind of like how you when you're younger and like your mom has just been like dealing with your bullshit for so long. Eventually, she's just like, "I'm done for a second. Like, take care of yourself. I'm fucking done."
That
I don't
scene
know.
with
Maybe
Stewie.
that was just my family, but that sort of shit happens. Just like, damn, I understand where you're coming from.
It's like that scene with in Family Guy where Stewie's like, "Mom, mom, mom," and Lois eventually snaps at him, and he fucking runs
Yes.
away.
That
Like
but
saying,
15,000 times.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I think we can probably mostly all agree that she was probably like the best character in this show. Keon
Besides
gets
the
so much
MC.
screen time, But like,
Kyon also had some good. Like I liked him talking to himself and just sort of like admitting that he liked his friends. Because one of the, I guess, like character flaws Kyon has is that he keeps on trying to be too cool for school. You know, he's like, oh, I don't think it's fun going on these crazy adventures with my time traveling psychic friends. Oh, I'm so above this, and it's like that's very teenager esque, but also dumb. Like that's awesome. That's a cool thing to do, and it's nice to see him realize that.
Also, not enough Koizumi in this movie. Not enough. He was like not there at all, really. Like I know he was friends with Haruhi in the alt universe or whatever, but like even whenever he got in on it, like he just wasn't there. I guess we kind of got like a good amount in the end when he's like peeling the apples and shit and talking to him. Like that was pretty good, but I think it would have been interesting to get some more, or to be like it would be interesting if Koizumi in the alternate universe was like somewhat aware and that's why he was close to Haruhi, because like remember, like he sees her as a god in the main universe, so like it kind of makes sense that there's maybe some like echo there where it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna stay close subconsciously, even if I don't know it.
Yeah, I would have liked that too. I agree. They didn't really like this is Yuki's sort of like a Yuki development arc, but I feel like, and I guess Kyoto Annie probably didn't know this, but like if we're not going to get any more animated Haruhi, it would have been nice to have him be more prominent. I feel like.
Agreed.
I think one of like the big things that I liked about the movie is, I mean, just, I think like the characters got a lot of time to shine. I really liked Yuki just because like when she was on screen, I felt like it was pretty impactful. But like at the end, just like Haruhi kind of showing like a different side of herself, while she does put like Mikuru in like awful situations and literally treats Yuki like a robot and stuff like that. At the end of the day, like she's there for her friends and like she never left Kion's side. I thought that was like kind of like a cool little like character moment for her. And it's like, yeah, she could be a piece of shit, but like she's there for her friends when they need it. And I thought that was really cool of her and just a really nice touch to the movie.
So was it meant to be obvious who the like mysterious woman who pushed him was? Is it meant to be stabby woman who did it, or is
Yeah,
it
she
mentioned?
wouldn't be. She wouldn't.
No, she wouldn't be
in
there.
that universe.
That's what I was thinking too. But like that, like I wasn't sure who else could have pushed him down the stairs. Is where I was at.
Maybe the adult version of Asahina. I feel like that's
maybe,
like.
yeah.
Because I feel that would be the only person that would fit.
They also said woman specifically, not girl. So that could be, yeah.
It was his mom.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does his mom get screen time in this? I forget.
I don't think so.
She wasn't in it at all, no. They
No,
mentioned her once, but...
Plot twist, it was actually the cat. The cat was conscious the whole time.
Yeah, there you go.
Thomason? Leave him alone.
I'm so based this purely on speculation, but since Suzumiya is on the cover of 2 of the light novels, I think that she somehow has something involved with it. So I'm gonna say she pushed down Kion.
The green hair
The
girl?
green hair girl with the 5 head.
Tsuruya. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one who got really mad at him at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mikuru's bodyguard.
Got it. Okay.
I'm just,
you know what?
purely
I might
read
read the light novels, actually.
Do it. Let me know how it goes.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait. I want to wait for it to be animated.
Honestly, okay.
Good luck.
The comeback of the century of the week continues with Jay literally saying something like, everyone who likes this show is lying, and I hate them for lying to me about this being good. To I think I might read the light novels.
This show is a 1 at like the point of the first season or second season.
I was in a lot of physical pain when I first started watching this show. Understand that.
It was a fun time watching episodes with Jay during that time and him being like, this sucks. Kyon is horrible. I'll read the light novels. Such a nice face turn.
Great character.
He's gonna read the light novels to prove that it's bad. You know, like,
do it.
He's a hater, but he's a hater, but he has standards.
There is some part of it that's out of spite, but most of it is out of curiosity.
I get that. This is the second time I've lost my train of
That was like
thought.
me with Baccano. where like I loved like the premise of Bacchanal so much. It's like I might read the light novel. Like this is really cool. But then
Ellen, you would have to learn to read, and that would be outstanding.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we ain't ready. We're not ready for that arc yet. Oh no,
It's-
that's several
Yeah,
arcs
where's
down the
the-
road.
Where's the what do you say anime arc where Pete goes to school?
School festival arc with Pete. Yeah, it's like Billy Madison.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you
He
have to go.
tries
You have to
read
take
all
your
24 letters of the alphabet.
24 letters of the alphabet. Wow,
Or
Johnny.
26, whatever
It's
it
like
is.
a more
Math was
sickly
never my
version of
strong suit.
GTO.
Even I know that, and I can't read.
It's got all the letters except you and me, babe.
Hey, whoa,
there we go.
wait, hold on.
As someone in the middle of you two right now, I'm very uncomfortable.
We just reach over, right? Yeah. I wonder if that makes sense on Pete's screen or not. Does it?
It does
wait,
not.
it doesn't.
You both went the wrong way.
Because on my screen, it's this way.
Yeah, you got to do the other way, and then actually just do like Thriller. Make
Yeah,
sure
you
it's
do
the
that.
right way.
On my screen, I reach down towards Jay.
Our audio
you like the-
listeners are
Do
so
the-
confused
They
right
are
now.
so
Yeah, this is
annoying.
great audio
Audio
content.
Yeah.
Somebody like put on like a David Attenborough like live like description of like what's going on right now.
Some nature documentary voice is like, and now Pat is reaching across the screen to touch out for Pete. The mating signal has been approved. Or like some bullshit like that. I don't know. All right, we're going a little off track
How
here.
did I go to
bit.
the meeting?
I do not need the mental image of Pat dancing like a sea cucumber right now.
A
Yo,
sea cucumber.
speak
That
for
you could have picked
yourself.
like any animal that does like a mating dance, like any bird or anything. And you went
But
with
you
the
pick
sea
something
cucumber.
that reproduces
Undulation.
asexually. I'm
Yeah,
90%
I was
sure.
just saying, like, you pick something that doesn't have a mating
Produced by
dance.
butter.
He danced to
Undulation is your
himself
love
to like hype
language.
himself up to breed.
Oh, you guys want to play a game?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Don't ask us to see your cucumber.
Let's not.
You can't see it. Come on. Let's play a guessing game. Now that the light novel is back in circulation and Kyoto Animation is making more projects, what do you think the percentage that Kyoto Animation continues with making more Haruhi content?
I believe that they were like there was like a long-standing like TM soon for Haruhi season 3, and then after everything happened, they were like, nah. So I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'll say like 20%.
God, so I was sitting here thinking like it's 100%. I thought you were gonna ask like what year we think it's gonna come out.
If you think it's
know,
100,
'cause-
what year?
Yeah, because like I think it's like there's no way it doesn't. Like the movie ends with Kyon going, yeah, so we're gonna we are gonna have to go back and resolve this eventually, but that's
It's been
not right
13
now.
years, Pat.
How long was Devil's a part-time or whatever?
Like 7 or something.
10, 9,
Stop
9.
stop gaslighting me. It's gonna come out. It will come out. And like you said, with the light novel coming back into circulation, there's a reason to make it other than the fact that it's a really popular series and it's a one that's been referenced by other anime and manga, which I think is puts it in its own little category even. I would guess within the next 5 years we get something like maybe 25th anniversary, not 25th anniversary. What would it be? 25th? No.
20th in 7 years.
20th
Well,
in
I guess
7
that'd be
years.
the movie would be 20 years. All right.
Well, oh yeah, I was gonna say in the
06 was the first
original
season.
the original season, right? So 3 years from now it'll be 20 years. Maybe we'll get it then. I would be shocked if we didn't get it in our lifetimes unless we all somehow died in the next like 2 years or something. So
I mean,
When we
I'm
buy
headed that way.
Hopefully not when we buy the what do you say anime Zeppelin.
yeah, exactly.
That'd be
Too soon, Jay.
Johnny, what's your guess?
My guess on when we're gonna die or when we're gonna get hard.
Both.
Because like I was thinking of like buying us all plane tickets like in about like 2 weeks, and he was like, well, one of the wings just suddenly happens to like break apart. But
You can still buy me a plane
think-
ticket.
I mean, if you want to die, sure. But
Free flight?
so, like,
Absolutely.
I would say that Haruhi getting a continuation is like the same chance as No Game No Life getting a season 2.
I like that.
With a lot of the shows like from that have been remade or are getting continued now, especially like one of the ones that I'm pointing to is Trigun. I feel like it's gonna. I feel like they have an incentive to do it, especially because it'll get people to watch the original on streaming services, especially with it being readily available. And second, with all the people that are trying to get people into anime, I think they have an incentive to. So I would say a good 60%.
I like that.
I think that Kyoto Animation is going to spend their time doing other stuff. I would give it like a 30%.
I was thinking more like 35% chance. I think No Game No Life has like a 10% chance of getting a season 2. So this definitely has a better chance.
Yeah, and then for me, just like seeing Kyoto Animations like work, they really like to do things to completion. They did all of Chunibyo, Tamoko's Market, Free. They're doing the Sound Euphonium finale. They even did like Liz and the Bluebird. It wouldn't surprise me if you get like a third season of Dragon Maid. I think I'm in like the miles range. I think I'm in like the 20 to 25% range that it gets picked up at some point.
Yeah, they're too busy making like 74 sound euphonium projects.
Hey,
Um,
I'm here for it. I love Sound
yeah,
Euphonium.
I'm not here to complain either, but you
I
know,
would like to add that they did make like a spin-off anime of
Oh,
for Naruto Yuki, and it was by a different studio
and
in
it's
2015.
ass. It's
So
ass.
I
2015.
Yep.
don't think that helps its chances at all either.
I think that was different
If
because like
that
the light
performed
novel was on like
poorly.
hiatus, and they just wanted
Yeah,
to.
it was on break for 9 years.
Yeah, they wanted to get maybe cash a check or something like that, and then the guy's like, "Hey, we're back," and so I think it's a little different. But that spinoff is terrible. It is so bad. Do not watch it, especially if
I
you
was
like
gonna
the
nominate it.
character.
I'm
It's
joking.
it's like a rom com, and then they take all of the personality from these characters and just like throw it out the window. Like Yuki is like a stereotypical shy girl. Keon's like the hot dude at the school, and like it doesn't. I don't know. I dropped it after one episode. It was really bad.
Okay,
watch it.
then. I'm going to have to find a new show to nominate, depending on the results,
I mean, you
because
can
that was going
nominate
to be my
it.
choice. There's zero chance it wins.
We've already established like we like suffering. So like if you
Oh,
give
that's
us
a
a
good
bad
point.
show, I'll probably win. So
Don't do it.
Good. Don't do it. It sounds like, but we'll see. All right. Do we want to do our closing thoughts? I know. I think we've talked a lot about this movie in a good way, for sure. But yeah. All right. Let's move on. Miles, why don't you give us your closing thoughts and your final score for, at least for the moment, the last piece of our Haruhi puzzle.
yes, me like Haruhi. I really love this movie. I really like how it delves into like Yuki's psyche and Kyon's psyche, and I think it has like really well paced character development and everything, and like that's what I want to see. I feel like if there's a complaint to be made about the original series, like the 2 seasons, is that you get Haruhi moving, let's say like she takes like 2 steps forward, like the entire 50 episodes or whatever,
Mhm.
something it is. It's not that many. It's like 30 or something. But like it's just not, we get very slow burn character development, which I enjoy, but I think it's maybe a little too slow. And I can definitely understand how someone would say that. This, I think we get like good arcs with good development that are interesting, and it really helps flesh out our characters more. I think what's neat about this show is that it has these like tropey characters, and it really sort of looks at them in a more in-depth way. Um, I really like that. So I love this movie. I love this whole series. I like every entry to the series. Gave this a 10.
10. Wow. Alrighty. 10 for Miles. Kat, what about you?
So I actually really enjoyed this movie. I didn't think I was, especially after the first 15 minutes, but then it definitely picked up in on my scale. I think it's a lot better than the first season, leagues above the second season, and because of like all the things that have happened, especially with the Kyun basically realizing that he loves his friends and having that like having having one of those moments that I'm ashamed that I like him in shonen, like one of those I love my friends moments. I It really uh resonated with me, this especially after years of being cringy in high school. And I definitely think that this is definitely worth a watch. In total, I think that my score for this show is gonna be an actual 10 instead of a just
Actual 10.
As opposed to my fake 10 that I just gave.
Yes.
no.
Well,
Your opinion
it-
is invalid, Miles.
yeah. There we go. Johnny, what about you?
Yeah, so for me, I think that even though I do enjoy this movie, it kind of feels like watching horror here, like somebody punched you in the face and then afterwards they gave you like $200. It's like I had to
So
suffer
worth it?
before like getting something good. And I feel like, like I didn't have to go through that. Like, you could have just given me the money instead of punching my face. So because of that, it's like I know like you're supposed to separate like the movie from the show, but like it's really hard to. So I think for me, like I think if the rest of the series was like actually good, I would have given this probably like a 9. But because of like just the fact that like I've never genuinely got mad at an anime before I watched the Endless Thing. Like I was genuinely pissed off. So I think because of that, I'm gonna have to give it an 8. It's still a good movie, but it's just like that emotion of me just being pissed off that like this show made me waste like 2 hours of my life. It like will never go away.
Fair. Fair enough. Alrighty. Jay, what about you?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I enjoyed watching the first 2 seasons of Haruhi. I liked the dive into Kion and Nagato's psychology, like Miles had mentioned, and I also really enjoyed the like kind of upgrade on the soundtrack that we got in this one, which I think was kind of an underrated thing that didn't really get brought up too much. Um, I had a few complaints about it, like I said earlier, like the distinct like lack of Koizumi and honestly kind of Asahina as well, even though we did get more of adult Asahina. That kind of was a bit of a letdown whenever you see how much we get of like Kion and Nagato and to a lesser extent Haruhi, and I wish that we would have seen more with them. And I also enjoyed a lot of the scenes that like Kat had mentioned, like with the quiz where he's seeing if he really enjoyed like his time with Haruhi. That was pretty good. I liked the effects they used for that, like the like film rolling effect and stuff. And yeah, overall it was really nice from what I could see in the shitty quality I was watching it. And I'm gonna have to say that I give this I'm gonna say a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
9 out of 10. This is the character development we love to see. Pete, what about you?
Yeah, this is my third favorite movie of all, or anime movie of all time. I love how they like just like the callbacks from season 1 with the John Smith stuff. I thought how they tied the time loops together was like really well done. I think it's really hard to do in anime, and I brought it up before. I think the only two that like really hit the nail on the head in terms of in anime are Steins Gate and this movie. I loved it. Kyoto Animation is one of my favorite studios and shows. The animation was beautiful. The soundtrack was great. The characters and the voice acting were fantastic. Technical elements were hidden everywhere. I loved my rewatch, and I love this movie still. I'm giving it a 10.
There you go. All right. And Preston, how about you?
I agree with everything everybody else said about how great this movie is. It's my favorite installment of Haruhi, and I'll give it a 9. Great movie.
9. Nice. All right. And to wrap up our scores, I also agree with pretty much what everyone else has said. I think for me, what really stood out, Haruhi in her non god form, I guess, in the alternate reality, so to speak. I loved every scene that had her in it because it was fun to see her personality is the same. It's just she doesn't have the control in that world, and it was really fun to see how um that dynamic played out, even though we only had it for maybe like I don't know 10, 15 minutes of the movie.
And that switch
Uh,
she had, how because like she like gave up that life, and then when Keon came back, it kind of like switched something into her. I love that for her.
Yeah, it was great. I love that. I also enjoy kind of gives you a little bit of peek into Yuki's psyche as well. That she basically like her solution was getting rid of everybody that was in the way of her just spending time with Kyon at the end of the day, right? Or being peaceful and content, I guess, with life with Kyon, kind of slowly being the only other person that really, because the other two were sent away to another school. Asahina was off doing her own thing, but Kyon was still there for her, or in her, like, I guess, happier world or non-stressed world, whatever you would want to say. I whatever. Either way, I really love this. I do think it slowed down a little bit near the middle. I feel like there was just like a 20-minute lull where I was like, all right, are we getting to a point here? What's going on? Like, are we gonna move along here? I kind of that was like right when the time loops had really started to like overlap over and over and over again, and I was just sitting there like starting to get mentally pretzeled a bit almost. I think that's when I started to lose me a little bit, but then again, it ended so strong, that scene with the knife, and then also just the finale on the rooftop, pretty much, or I guess pretty much the finale where they're talking on the roof. I loved it. It had all the payoff that you could ask for. I think this is a 9 out of 10 for me as well. I just it didn't have that like one crazy moment that like took me over the edge, but at the end of the day, it's still Haruhi, and I loved it. Loved
So
it to
even
death.
though this movie did time travel right, and the Bunny Girl Senpai movie has the worst time travel in the history of fiction, you're gonna give this a
That's
lower score than that?
mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wild.
well, good thing I'm not a scientist because I don't like time travel anyways. But
I think that's
so
his
maybe
field of
that's
expertise.
yeah, no,
Yes,
that's
I'm a biologist I got a minor in time travel.
well, yeah, but you might care more. Yeah, so
What?
you would care more about that than I do because at the end of the day, I still don't forgive you for ruining Bunny Girl movie for me, but you didn't because it's still a 10 out of 10 for me. So I love you, Miles. And Yeah, so our total scores for this, we grew up to a 65, which when I do some quick maths there and divide that by 7, we average out to a 9.285 or a 9.29
We get our third
average.
highest rated anime.
Third highest rated show that we have ever watched. That with 7 people here, that is
That
impressive,
is pretty
I think.
impressive.
So if that doesn't speak volumes about this show and more specifically this movie, you should go watch this because holy moly, I see why it survived too. Like again, this is a series that is one of the ones that really was the first to come over, so to speak, right? Like was one of the earlier, not the first, but like one of the shows in the 2000s, right? And the early 2010s. This is one that really everyone has watched, and I think that there's a reason for it. And we see that for sure. But all right, Miles, I think that wraps up our discussion on the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya. What are we watching 2 weeks from now?
Yeah. So, all good things must come to an end at some point. As we, like, remember that you were made from ash, and to ash you will return, or whatever they say. In second place, or third
I was
place,
like, what happened to third?
We don't care about him.
this is actually interesting. I've never had to do this before. I guess, okay. You know what? I'll worry about it later. In second place, we got. How do I? Yeah. And okay. Fuck it. Link click one. Okay.
Yes!
Link click one.
Damn.
Yeah. You can think rifle. We were really close to watching Emiya. But
How close was it?
Link click had 14 points and Emiya had 17. But Link click gets 5 free points. And before rifle
That'd be
voted.
by 0.5.
It beat it by 2.
Got it, the win.
Yeah, so I DM'd Rifle during this because I saw he hadn't voted, and I didn't want an inauthentic, W. It's been fun while it lasted, but we can't keep it going forever.
Go, baby! Just dapped
that
up my
makes it
brother, baby.
inauthentic.
Let's go.
So, NUO also did very well, and Emiya family came in second. So NUO and Emiya get another legacy point.
The polls were closed and you still took votes.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were.
It was
They were-
rigged.
They weren't actually closed though, because they never officially closed.
They're never
until-
closed until I do the thing.
This is the thing.
So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're finally gonna watch, and honestly, I can't wait to give it a 1 just
I don't
to be mean to
care.
Pete.
It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't
Or,
matter.
15 tries. Took you
It's okay,
15
guys,
tries.
It
Don't worry,
doesn't matter.
Next watch club, just have nobody show up and
So-
just have Pete talk to himself.
This is our.
I just
We'll be
did an
having
episode by
our
myself. I don't care.
second not anime episode. So Link, Click, and Twilight are the only not anime we will watch.
Let's go.
Yeah, we'll get to Ruby someday.
Yeah.
No, we won't.
Yeah, on behalf
know
of
we won't.
on behalf of my country, you're welcome.
You want to know something really funny? Is I actually got a backup show this time around because I had a feeling that Link Click might win, so I have a backup.
It was really close.
Better start learning Chinese, buddy.
Yeah, ni hao.
现在我有冰淇淋。
Oh shit!
Yeah, Johnny.
Oh fuck!
What
Yeah,
did you
right.
forget?
that
literally
should not
speak Chinese.
that should not have taken me by
Yes.
surprise, but it did.
现在我有
Yeah,
冰
it
淇
shows
淋。
it shows how scared Americans are of Chinese.
I've never heard Johnny speak Chinese.
I don't think any of us.
Do you guys realize he was
You know,
saying the John Cena line?
Yeah.
You guys, that's what he was saying
You know,
there.
冰淇淋。
Beautiful.
He wasn't speaking like I'm sure he can, but it's the John Cena
That's
line.
No,
fantastic.
he speaks actual Chinese.
He can
Yeah,
actually
Exactly.
speak.
He's fluent in
No,
Mandarin.
John Cena is
Yes.
fluent in Mandarin. When he's speaking, he's actually speaking.
So that's really
Like
funny.
it's
I
not
thought
like
he
The
was just.
Rock where he goes like ching chong like. It's like-
Well, I thought he just had a rehearsed line that he had said. For
no,
that,
he
for that
actually
bit.
knows Chinese. He
It's
Good
a
for
little
him.
bit of both.
So
Yeah.
does Shaq. That's
Yeah, he does.
This is so cool. I
Would have
love
come up
learning.
from Shaq being racist to Yao Ming to knowing the language.
Yeah, good for him.
we all stand a redeemed king. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so
let's
we'll be-
nominate shows now. So it's
Okay.
yeah. So again, it's we'll be watching Link Click on Memorial Day. That's ironic.
Is it?
Let's
You're
well,
welcome.
it'd be after the
You're
jokes we've made, maybe. All right, we can talk about it after. I guess I don't know.
let's do an irony episode.
Yeah, let's do that. June 12th will be our the next date that we're voting on here. So Miles, what are you nominating for our June 12th Watch Club meeting?
Jay, are you re-upping NUO?
No, I'm not actually.
Okay, I will
I'm-
be nominating NUO.
I was about to say this feels like Haruhi, but like Endless 8, we're doing this bit again of asking, "Hey Jay, are you doing UO again?" Because it's the third time in a row. But perfect. All right, so you're nominating UO. All right, that's getting a vote from me. Kat, what about you?
I am going to nominate Natsume's Book of Friends.
Ooh, great
Ooh.
pick.
Yeah,
that
I've
was on my
nominated that
considering
before.
list.
Good pick.
There we go. That's a good nomination. Johnny, what have you got? Say it in Mandarin, please.
所以我现在我想选的 I'm not gonna do that. Fuck you. So you know I've been hearing about this show. You know how it's apparently an absolute banger. And you know what? I'll be honest, I just can't see it. But you know what? I have to see it to believe it. So, you know, with all the peer pressure that's been going around with people telling me to watch this show, I figured I might as well just drag other people into this with me. So
High school
I'll
DX.
nominate. No, not that one.
Bochi.
Yeah,
Oh, you're nominating Bochi.
Wait, what?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Bochi the Rock.
Oh god, fucking damn it!
Oh boy.
Let's
I
go.
wonder-
Let's see if this show is actually.
I'm not
good
voting
or
for it. I
if
already
it's
watched
just
it,
shit.
but
Yeah, we'll have to see. Alrighty, next up, Jay, what have you got?
I'm gonna nominate the movie Goodbye Don Glees.
ooh, I saw
That'd be spicy.
the North America premiere of that movie at Anime Expo.
Oh, this is fun looking.
Same director of A Place Further Than the Universe.
Ah, it's garbage, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all,
Ooh.
eat a dick. Every episode I have to tell you that. Eat my ass and don't come up for air, bro.
Yeah, you'd fucking love it too.
Maybe.
All right, Pete, what are you nominating?
We're running it back, baby. Link click again. No,
Link, click.
I think you guys have been acting a little sus, so I'm gonna do the Among Us anime. I'm gonna nominate Astra Lost in Space.
I thought you were gonna do Nagatoro.
I
or
thought it was
something.
gonna be
Wait, is Astra
I thought it was
Lost
gonna
in
be
Space?
Danganronpa.
Wait, is this actually just like Among Us?
It's Among Us
but
in
an anime?
space. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pick
Did
that.
they-
It's a
did
it's a
they
murder
say-
mystery.
Yeah.
How have I not watched this?
And they have to
Okay.
like there's like a crisis on the ship that they're on, and they have to somebody's like killing them off.
Damn, I could nominate Danganronpa. That's crazy.
Fucking do it.
Justin, what about you? What are you nominating?
I'm re-upping Emiya.
Re-upping Emiya. All right, there we go.
Oh, this is fun.
We still haven't gotten word on if the Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbye, actually is getting a North America release. So I still can't nominate this fucking movie that we saw trailers for when we saw Suzume and SAO and everything else. But so instead, I'll do those same two movies that we did before that are supposed to coincide with each other.
What are they?
They're on our pinned chat. So
Like
we'll
to everyone I've loved and
to everyone I've loved, and
for all
to
those
the
who
me,
loved me or something like that.
to the only me who loved you. It looks interesting. Two movies that are as close to similar to each other, but not quite, or same male lead, two females. I really no idea. I want to go in blind. Let's have fun with it. So yeah, those two movies will be my nominations. So yeah, I think that that wraps us up for Watch Club. So Pete, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, if you have made this far and you want to support us, best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on. I actually just put up my Japan episode. If you haven't checked it out and you want to go to Japan, I did like a recommendation, my tips and tricks, things that I wish I would have known for like a first time person. So go check that out. Otherwise, next week, Miles, myself, and Jay will be doing, normally we do like a our first impression review of like the season. But because I was in Japan, we can't. So we're gonna do like a mid-season / 2/3 season reaction of this season. So gotta get some seasonal content in, gotta get those clicks. So check that out. Otherwise, if you're here for Watch Club, we will see you in 2 weeks for the best episode of Watch Club of all time. Link click. We'll see you later. Thanks.